What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new episode of The Lion's Den. My name is Jack, and joining me today, my good friend, my brother, the homie, JesseTIv. How you doing?
Doing great. How we doing?
Doing fantastic. And today, guys, we finally get to talk about Destiny 2 without it being a downer of a video. It's actually something positive. Who would have thought?
So much excitement.
So much excitement. Who would have thought that on this channel, after ripping Destiny 2 a new one like 4 times over, we could make some positive content around the game? Because DLC 2 just dropped this week, Warmind is out, big sandbox changes, there's a lot of updates over the last few months that we need to go over, PvP is like finally back, and just all in all, this has been a fantastic week for Destiny players. What are your initial thoughts, Jess?
Well, first things first, gotta give credit where credit is due. The game is fun. I'm enjoying the DLC. I thought everything about it was a huge upgrade compared to Curse of Osiris. Yeah, I'm just having a lot of fun right now. I didn't think I was going to be having fun with Destiny until September, so I'm definitely excited to play, and it's fun to grind right now.
Yeah, it's incredibly fun, and I think that if there's going to be like a theme to this video, something you could take away, like overall, if you want to sum it up in just like a soundbite, it would be, this is a good start. Things aren't perfect, but everything they've done with this update has been, in general, a step in the right direction, and it's finally gone to the point where some of the core issues that have held Destiny 2 back since launch are being addressed and fixed, and I think that's wonderful. And, you know, some people, obviously, you're going to have some people that are just done with the game, they're not going to come back because it took too long, and that's understandable. But as someone who is, you know, so tied to the series, and Jesse even more so than myself, at the end of the day, we just want the game to be fun, and now that the game is finally getting there, we're ready to, you know, keep pointing out the flaws that are there, but credit does go out to Bungie for delivering a fantastic DLC, I think.
Yeah, I think it's one of the better DLCs in Destiny history to Destiny 1. I think maybe just Rise of Iron and The Taken King, maybe, but I mean, it's a solid DLC. I mean, lots of stuff to do. I know the story was short. Do you want to talk about the story a little bit?
Yeah, so let's jump right into the story, I guess. The main things to take away, we're going back to Mars. We're introduced to Anna Bray, who is kind of the main NPC character throughout this expansion. We get to finally go to the Clovis Bray facilities after hearing so much about them throughout the lore since D1. And yeah, it's a short story. I'd say it's about a 1.5, 2 hour story, about 4 missions. There's some good boss fights in the story, for damn sure. Some of my favorite boss fights, in fact, in a long time. And even though it's kind of a bummer that it's short, there is a substantial amount more endgame content to do once the story completes, that I'm okay with the story being brief.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'd gladly have a short story and have lots of quests and PvP maps and lots of new guns and stuff like that. It's more important to me than the story. I mean, me personally, I play Destiny to play PvP. Most part, the majority of the rest of the game, I only play to get certain guns that I want to use in PvP. So to have a nice, short, sweet story, good little plot line, cool mechanics in the boss fights, that's great. That's perfect. That's exactly what I want. And you got to remember that Destiny doesn't always cater to the fans, the PvE fans, because PvE guys burn through content. PvP guys play the game even when it's dead, you know? And that's kind of one of the things you got to look at. So the story I thought was short and sweet. I really liked it. I like when the story is just nice and short, and I can go into the quests and do the stuff I want to get the guns that I want. I really like that.
Yeah, I think the one thing that they've done well consistently throughout Destiny 2's lifespan is that obviously the cinematic quality in this DLC was fantastic. I thought the voice acting was incredibly well done. Zavala is one of my favorite voice actors in the game, so getting Zavala involved was cool. I thought Anna Bray was a cool character, interesting. You know, she's been hinted at so much throughout the game and in the lore that it was great to see her, and I thought her design was pretty sick. And like her intro cutscene on Mars when we're introduced to the Frozen Thrall and stuff, that's dope. I really like all the cinematic work in this DLC.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. The voice work in Destiny is always on point.
Yeah.
And I did think that Anna Bray's character overall was pretty cool. I think the idea of going in and doing stuff from Destiny 1 that include like the Warmind and whatnot, like Rasputin, I think that was a cool little tie-in to Destiny 1.
Yeah. Oh, and then like, what kind of just, it was kind of mentioned, then brushed aside because the main story was going on. This whole concept that Guardians are told, you shouldn't try and research who you were before you became a guardian, right? Because obviously we're resurrected by the ghosts, and we don't have any memories of our past. But Anna Bray is like the first character we've been introduced to who has gone through the effort of finding out who she is and learning about her past and embracing her past. And that obviously leads to some cool interactions with Zavala, as she's kind of an outcast among the Vanguard for what she's doing. But there's like some really interesting concepts brought up here that have been explored a little bit in like the old grimoire and some of like the descriptions throughout the game. But to see them brought to the forefront, I thought was really cool as someone who like really appreciates the universe.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have much to say on that because I'm not really. I turned my brain off when I play through the story personally because I'm just trying to get through it. So I wasn't paying 100%, paying 100% attention to it, but I did think it was fun.
Yeah. So, talking just a little bit briefly more about the boss fights and the encounters in the story missions, I thought the first, or like the main boss fight before you fight the final boss, Nokris, which is actually the strike in this DLC, was a really interesting kind of new format for boss fights in the game. I mean, you have this, you enter the boss arena, and what you have to do is kill these like really tanky hive knights to spawn an orb, and you have to destroy these soul crystals to actually be able to DPS phase the boss. And in the Shrike version of this mission, the boss moves around, his attacks are very, very deadly, he spawns wave after wave of mobs, the arena has very little cover, it's very hectic and a very like fast-paced boss fight. And it really impressed me, even like running through the story on 3 different characters, I thought that was a really, really solid boss fight, and I think it's going to be one of the better strikes going forward into the future of Destiny 2.
Yeah, I haven't played any strikes, but I did think that boss mechanic was cool. Like, kill the knights, grab an orb, Kobe it across the map. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I thought it really mixed it up and added like pacing, where it doesn't just try and DPS as hard as possible, then not die. You have to work around the map and actually deal with ad control a little bit more, which I think can sometimes be lost in some of like the lesser boss battles in the game. And I guess at this point we've already spoiled a lot. So if you didn't want to have the story spoiled, sorry, kind of just glossed over that. But if you don't want to hear about the final boss, it's 4 missions, and frankly, if you whatever, dude. Spoiler warning. There you go. I'll put it in the description. But if you don't want to hear about the final boss because you haven't played through yet, I'd highly recommend going and doing it. It's not going to take much time, and then come back and watch the rest of the video. But there you go. There's a spoiler warning about the final boss. This is probably one of my favorite final boss fights that we've had so far in Destiny. I'm not going to lie. I thought it was really cool that after the Easter egg of the Worm God on Io, that was really, really cool when that was first found in Vanilla D2, to actually be able to fight something like that big and that whole arena in front of Rasputin, I thought that was a really dope final boss.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. I mean, it's obviously nothing clever mechanics-wise, but I thought it was just really cool, because you get to fight this big-ass worm thing, and it's going in and out of the map, and, if you're not paying attention, like, it killed me, it ran over me at some point. I don't even remember.
Yep. Yeah, you got fucking
so
struck by the worm.
If you're not paying attention 100%, you just get shreked on. But I did think it was fun. I think it's cool when you encounter new enemies like that. Like, that kind of stuff's cool to me.
Yeah, it was super cool. And while, kind of comparing this DLC to Curse of Osiris, the Curse of Osiris boss fight was definitely, I think, better mechanically because there was more interesting stuff done with the mechanics in that fight. This is a really straightforward boss fight. Pretty standard overall in terms of how you go about killing it. But the sense of scale with the giant worm and the fact that it's destroying parts of the map, and when you kill it, it falls down on the map, like right in front of you. Like, it was just...
For a short time, you can climb on it before it fades away.
Yeah, like, there's a real good sense of scale there. And it was just, like, the first time when you enter the boss arena and the worm takes out the bridge, I was not expecting that. That was, like, a genuine, like, surprise reveal of the boss fight. And I just thought that whole scene right there was really well done.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Alright. Other than that, that's pretty much it for the story gameplay in Warmind. What's really interesting is the post-game content. And we'll talk PvE very briefly. The biggest chunk of this video, I think, is going to be dedicated to PvP because that's what me and Jesse both prefer, and that's what we really play the game for. So just kind of going over it quickly, there's like 4 endgame quest lines that you can take on once the DLC's over. You have the main quest line for the Ikelos weapons, including Sleeper Simulant. There's another quest line you could do immediately, like a world quest, by going on patrol and killing enough nodes to get the new exotic sword. You can get these cool Arctic and Bray tech weapons by doing some other quests. And then you have new loot that's tied to Escalation Protocol, which is a new public event. So there's like a lot of shit to do post-game. And you can do a lot of it, or none of it, or some of it. It's all just kind of like what you choose to do and why, which I think is really awesome.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's even new vendor loot from some of the old vendors, like Crucible has new. I'm sure Vanguard has new loot as well. Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of shit to do. I mean, to be honest, I just wanted to cruise through the story and then just play PvP and test out some of the new exotics and stuff. But I found myself going back and doing a lot of the quests just to kind of get some of these new weapons and do some of the shit that I haven't done before, which is always a good time.
Yeah, and that's coming from, to be fair, Jesse just does not like PvE. That's not his thing at all. And even he was willing to get into the grind a little bit to try and get some of these new weapons. And I think it's cool that you can't get everything day one. Like Curse of Osiris, it was like you were just done day one, except for the forge weapons, which just you needed to wait for weekly resets. Then it took like 30 minutes to do. Like that DLC felt like as soon as you were done with the story, you were ready to do everything else, and you could be done in a couple hours. Especially now that we're well removed from the DLC and everything's available. Warmind, I think, has done a good job of pacing out the content and using light level caps to effectively make it to where you have to actively engage with endgame grind to get to the higher light levels. I mean, I've been playing seriously the last few days. I've done raids, I've done strikes, I've done Escalation Protocol, I've done a lot of the quests, I've done a bunch of grinding. And I'm not even close to the light level cap to even do the new raid. So, like, the grind in this DLC is insane, but I also really appreciate that at the same time.
Yeah, I think the grind is tough, but it's also very because they've implemented another soft cap like they did in Destiny 2 vanilla launch. So basically, if you're not doing in-game things, you can't get stuff over light level 340 other than exotics. So to get light level 350, 370, you have to be doing in-game level content, which is tough. Like, you got to really do those heroic strikes on at level 340. I mean, good luck. It's tough.
No, it was not easy, dude. I fucking hate that took me like 5 hours, but it did.
Like, soft caps was one of the best things Bungie's ever came up with. Is basically, to push through the soft cap, you got to do in-game. And if you don't want to do in-game, like me, I just want to Crucible, maybe do some Trials of Osiris, which will give me some higher light level stuff. I'm just going to be stuck at 340,
Which I think kind of goes with the fact that they're not exactly using the light level anymore to actually, like, make it advantageous in Crucible. There's no more light level advantage in, like, Iron Banner and Trials, which is fine, because there are going to be people like you who don't engage with the endgame content as much and are stuck at that soft cap, so they don't ever really climb all the way to the light level cap. Which is fine, because people are different. Not everyone's going to want to do the raid every week and do the raid on 3 characters and be that active with the endgame. So you can you can engage with this DLC as little or as much as you want, which is awesome. I'm so fucking down with that.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Alright, so kind of moving on. I can't really speak much about the new raid lair because as of recording this, it's only been day 1. Actually, it took the world's first took like 6 hours, so apparently the new raid is really difficult. But like I was saying, the light level cap is 370, so it's a hell of a grind just to get there. And some of the other PvE changes that I think are making that more fun, they finally added heroic strike modifiers, they added challenge cards to Nightfalls, and they've added Nightfall specific loot. Slowly over the last few months they've been adding Nightfall specific loot to grind for, which is awesome. They're just making the game more fun to engage with overall. And even though some of those heroic strike modifiers fucking suck, and they are way too difficult, Bungo, I'm looking at you, why you gotta give me half health and then make me get one shot by all the bosses so I gotta redo that strike 17 times just so I can get my sleeper stimulant? Why you gotta do that? But at the same time, I appreciate you because heroic strikes were dumb easy before, and now they're dumb hard. So you managed to go to the opposite extreme. Good job.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much to say here. I haven't done any of the raid stuff at all, so.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess we'll just jump right into PvP then, because for us, that's the real, like, meat and potatoes of Destiny. That's where the good stuff is. And I think the first place to start is to actually dial back the timeline a little bit to a couple months prior when the first major Crucible update started coming through in the form of the Go Fast update and the weapon balance changes back in March and April. They've slowly and surely have been balancing out Crucible over the last few months. And culminating in this update, we're at a point where most everything is viable in the Crucible, which is awesome. That's fucking great. You can now pretty much use anything and you'll be able to do well. And I think the biggest takeaway from that is that now rockets don't dominate everything. It's not all about 450 RPM auto rifles, and there's more than just 3 guns to use.
Yeah, I agree. And also, it's worth saying that we're playing on PC.
Yep.
I know that the Euros gift was even worse on console.
True,
but
to be fair.
To talk about the Go Fast update, I mean, what a great update that was. I mean, to be honest, so many fixes, so much stuff that the community had talked about, and then to roll into Warmind, it's even more stuff with all the exotic changes and whatnot. And I know the game's still not in the spot where I want it to be, Crucible wise, but it's very fun to play right now, finally, which is great because it's what I want to do. I love playing Destiny PvP. And to talk about what you were talking about, how most things are viable, that's great. And the best thing about that is not every gun is viable, but not every gun is as good as the best gun in the game. Like, the best gun in the game right now is probably Vigilance Wing, and it's great. It's overpowered. I love it. I love when shit's just a little bit overpowered, just like Thorn and Last Word were a little bit overpowered, a little bit better than everything else, but you still could use a Might Multi-Tool. You still could use a Zeros Regime if you wanted to. You know? Like, those guns were viable, but they're just not as good as the OP, you know?
Yeah, there's gonna be, like... And this is
I'm
how
glad stuff's OP. I don't want a perfectly balanced game. I want some shit that's OP.
Yeah, because I think that the way to look at this is that no matter what... No matter how they choose to balance the game, there's going to be like the meta weapons, and then there's going to be the other weapons. Basically, it's going to be like that divide. But the problem before with D2 Crucible was the meta weapons were like a country mile ahead of everything else. So if you didn't use the meta weapons, you were actively putting yourself at a disadvantage. But I cannot use the Vigilance Wing because for my playstyle, I personally don't like the gun. I can still use other shit and still be viable. I don't have to strictly use the Vigilance Wing just because it's objectively the best gun. And that's because Bungie has done the smartest thing possible in terms of Crucible balance. They aren't nerfing shit. They're bringing everything else up alongside to match that, and they've been doing that for months now, and we're finally to a point where that's really started to show. Where they haven't had to nerf Better Devils, they haven't had to nerf Uriel's Gift, they haven't had to nerf Vigilance Wing. They just brought other shit up. They buffed Graviton Lance, they buffed Sturm and Drang, you know, they buffed some of the lower RPM hand cannons. They brought shit up, which was a brilliant move. Because now the shit that was fun before is still fun, but there's more options.
Yeah, I think you nailed it on the head there.
Yeah. To kind of talk a little bit more in depth about some of the exotic reworks that we saw in this update. This was a big update for a lot of exotics. Graviton Lance went from being objectively like the worst gun in the game to now it's one of the top tier pulse rifles, and it rivals Vigilance Wing. It's a very consistent 3-burst headshot kill. It's a lot of fun, and it destroys team shotters because of the AoE, which, thank God, finally something that counters team shotting, right? So Graviton Lance getting reworked is fantastic. And then they touched a whole bunch of other exotics. Sweet Business, Sturm, they've reworked Fighting Lion, the Tractor Cannon, Darcy. They've reworked like almost all of the shit exotics. All the shit exotics, which were everything except for like Merciless and 3 others. So yeah, that's great. That's fucking great. And I think the highlight of the balance changes for this update are the changes to snipers, where they pretty much reduced flinch to non-obnoxious levels and made it to where you can get in and aggro snipe, which is great. That's like straight up mine and Jesse's playstyle. We love sniping, and sniping in Destiny 1 was rewarding and challenging and fun, and you felt like a fucking monster when you went off with a sniper in that game. And now because there's more power ammo more frequently in D2, and now that snipers aren't obnoxiously bad, you can go in with any sniper without the stupid scope sway and not have to worry about flinch as much and go ham, which is fucking great.
Yeah, I mean, sniping's 100% viable right now. It is so
super viable.
Sniping is so much fun, and like the stuff that they did to fix snipers, they got rid of the flinch, they got rid of the scope sway. That was fucking ridiculous. And now, like slide sniping, aggressive sniping, like I can run around the map with the sniper out. Period.
Yeah.
You know, I can hit quick scopes. All that shit is back, and it makes sniping so much more fun. Like, it really does feel like Destiny 1 again on the sniper side of things. And I know shotguns are still good because I'm getting tractor cannoned out the ass lately. So I know the shotguns are still good.
And even the fusions are good.
I mean, rockets are still, what they were. Fusion rifles are solid. They've always been solid, but they've always been the redheaded stepchild special weapons in Destiny 1. So I don't expect much from them.
Yeah. I think the main thing to take away from the rockets is that even though there's an increased amount of heavy ammo, for the most part now, if you pick up a brick off the wall off spawn, you only get 1 rocket now. Where before you used to get 2.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go back to my Crucible Osiris review that I did with Jesse, which you should watch and appreciate you, that was my biggest criticism, is why the hell did you just not nerf how much rocket ammo you got? Because if you have to make the choice to get 1 guaranteed kill, or pick up a sniper and you can get up to 6 if you learn how to play the game, now there's an actual choice there. It's not take rockets because they're objectively better, and they're consistent, and they're ridiculously overpowered. Now there's a balance, where if you're taking a rocket, you're making the choice to be nerfed in how much ammo and potential you have. It's great. That's exactly what I wanted. Like, straight up.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think that the choices are better now. I mean, everything just feels really good. I mean, the game's still not perfect, Crucible-wise. I mean, balance changes. I'd like the classes to be a little stronger in some areas. I still think melee should be a 2-hit kill and go back to just a little bit faster time to kill. Yeah. Like, if we brought everything down to 2 melee kill, I think that would be, ideal. But I don't think they're ever going to do that.
Yeah, because I think right now, the reason why it wasn't really a problem pre-patch was that, stuff like shotguns weren't ever used, so people weren't always in your face. The meta prior to this update was very mid-range, very hands-off, melee wasn't as big, but now people are getting hella aggro with all the new stuff, and now it's really starting to show how annoying it is when somebody flanks you and you turn around, you get the first melee hit in, and you get 2 off, but you don't have time to kill them because it takes 3. 3 just takes too long. And it wasn't a problem before, but now it's starting to show its issue, I think.
Yeah, I mean, and then that would just fix so many things, like Jade Rabbit. Jade Rabbit kills in 4 minutes, which is ridiculous. It's 3 bullets and a body shot. Yeah. And if you took everything down to a 2 melee kill health bar, instead of buffing melee, just take the health down to 2 melees would kill you. A bunch of things would kill in 2 shots or 2 bursts, or 3 shots for Jade Rabbit, 2 bursts for a Graviton Lance, 2 bursts for Vigilance Wing. Hand cannons, 3 shots, stuff like that. That makes the game so much faster.
Right. And to be fair, the game is already in a spot where it is a lot faster. So I mean, I think it should be. I'm not sure if just reducing the health pool is the smartest idea, because I think you'd have to go through and rebalance a lot of things, because everything's balanced around the current health pools. I don't know what the meta would look like if you just straight up reduced health by 50 points. It'd be tough to say what that's looking like. I don't know.
Would be the same.
I think that some things
just reduce health and don't change any guns, the best gun would still be the best gun. It would just kill faster.
Right. I don't know. I don't know if that's
That's what the community has been begging for a long time, is lower time to kill. The way you lower time to kill is lowering guardian health, not buffing guns.
Right. Well, I guess you could do it either or. I guess lowering guardian health is probably the easier way to do it.
Well, yeah, because lowering guardian health buffs everything.
True. Yeah.
In the game.
I mean, fuck it. I'm down for it. I think the State of Crucible right now is really fun, but some things can be slow. I think in general,
think it could be faster.
Yeah, I think in general, hand cannons feel kind of slow.
I cannot go into a room of 4 people that are camping solo and kill everybody. In Destiny 1, if you're camping in a room solo, I'm probably just gonna kill everybody. I'm gonna hit you with a firebolt. I'm gonna 2-tap one guy. I'm gonna melee the other guy. You know what I'm saying? I can go in and clean out that room.
Yeah. There's not a whole lot of opportunity for hero moments, because you get tagged in team fights and you run into a group of 3 people and there's just no way you're gonna be able to kill more than 1 or 2. Yeah, right. I agree with that. Fuck it, dude. I want to see that. I think grenades still feel like garbage. Firebolts barely do half damage. Arc bolts barely do half damage. It feels like grenades are way less used for actually confirming. Yeah, they're not. I feel like grenades should be for confirming kills or getting opening picks. But all they are used for right now, I think, is just for like zoning. People just use zoning grenades like Vortex and Solar, and that's predominantly what you see because there's like no reason to use damage dealing grenades because they don't deal enough damage. So yeah, I think that probably the only sore spot left in Crucible is the Guardian abilities, but I think a TTK shift could still be really beneficial.
Yeah, I agree.
So also in this update, another big thing to talk about is that they introduced a ranking system to both quick play and competitive. And while right now the ranking system does not affect matchmaking and quick play, it is a progression system in quick play and competitive. And Crucible has never in Destiny's history had a solid progression system besides RNG drops at the end of the match. I'm super down for it. I hope that they go even further with this in future updates and add more rewards and more reasons to like play the competitive playlist and more reasons to play quick play. Because besides liking, like, if you like to play Control, that's why you play quick play right now. If you like to play Bomb, that's why you play competitive. The ranks are kind of like a side thing right now, but it's kind of like I said, the theme of this video is that this is a good start. And I think that they should just take it to the next level and keep adding more ranks to competitive and more rewards and more exclusive shit for grinding Crucible. Because besides loving Crucible, why grind it, right? And I think that that's a good step in the right direction for solving that problem that's been here since Destiny 1.
Yeah, and there's rewards as well, which is nice. I do think it's very cool, especially for quick play, to your point. I found myself seeing that I was only a couple of wins away from getting to the next tier, and it makes me want to play more, you know? Like before, I just been, okay, I'm just kind of sick of playing, get off, play something else. Whatever, but I could see, like, I'm right there. I should push through. I could, if I play one more, I get to the next tier or whatever, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's just you look at any other successful multiplayer game. You look at like a Call of Duty and the way that they tier unlocks for future weapons and stuff. Incentives encourage repeat gameplay. You're gonna have the people who just love to play Crucible, and they're still gonna stick around. But for people who maybe only passively play Crucible, maybe there's a reason for them to continue playing, continue grinding. And then now we have more people playing Crucible, which is great for everybody. So I just hope that they go further with this.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a great step in the right direction.
I mean, that's pretty much it. There's not really much else to talk about. There are some bugs floating around right now. Some of the quests can be a little bit buggy, and there's some crashing issues. Kind of just usual DLC launch shit. But
to be expected.
To be expected, I think. Nothing ever really launches perfectly nowadays because Bungie has never adopted like a test server, which is something I think they should still do. That's something I will advocate for until the end of days because test servers solve a lot of problems. Just throwing it out there, Bungo, if you're watching. Shout out.
Test servers.
Let's just get them done, please. I will say one other thing is that my one other problem with Crucible is that Fireteam matchmaking is a bit shit right now. If you play duos, you're pretty much almost always going to play against 3 stacks or 4 stacks because of the matchmaking algorithm, which can be annoying and like really sweaty when you just want to play a couple casual games. But apparently,
in quick play.
Quick
it's
play.
I'm playing competitive. I'm just playing quick play, you know.
Yeah, dude, I don't want to feel the sweat coming through your monitor. Like, come on, dude. I just want to like kick back every once in a while. To be fair, one of the bugs with this update was they implemented some matchmaking changes to affect how people are queued versus stacked teams. But it was also bugging out matchmaking, so they currently disabled it, and apparently a hotfix in the next few weeks will be bringing that back. And I think once we get a chance to see what that's like, I would be able to kind of cement whether Crucible is like back to a state of glory or not. I would say generally, it's in a fantastic spot. But I think with these matchmaking changes, that could almost push it up to another level, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're hitting it right on the head right.
Yeah. I mean, you got anything else to add, Jess? Anything left? Anything, any pointers that we should see in future updates?
No, I think just, a lower TTK would be great. I would also love to see a Stealthy come because we have Mars. That would be awesome. I love that they're reworking old maps and they're reworking old guns and bringing them into Destiny 2, like Ceros Regime. I'm grinding for heavy. So I'm having a lot of fun with the update. I mean, obviously there's always room for improvement, but it's a great step in the right.
Okay, here's one thing, and then we should have brought this up a little bit earlier when we were talking about snipers. Do you think, with how they've balanced out power weapons right now, that the weapon slots still need to be reworked?
I think it's viable right now. Like, it's fun. But I would still kill for an exotic that wasn't in the secondary slot.
Yeah, maybe instead of having to rework everything, just bring like a
Just give me the No Land Beyond back.
No Land Beyond, that's what it was, thank you. Yeah, just like something that moves out of the power slot. Like, we already have the Fighting Lion, so you already set the precedent.
Yeah,
just make it something like that. Yeah,
I think bring the No Land Beyond back, I'll be a happy man. You don't have to rework the slots. I do find that I get heavy ammo quite often, so it's not as big as a problem as I thought it was going to be before launch of Warmind. I wasn't a big person talking about we need to get the slots back to Destiny 1, but I am okay where they are right now.
Yeah, I'm okay with there being a solution that doesn't involve such a big rework, especially because I like the concept of having more variety in your loadouts, being able to take 2 hand cannons if you want to, or take a variety of weapons alongside a power weapon. So I mean, I could even see a world where maybe they just move some snipers, some fusions, some shotguns to the energy weapon slot. I think that that'd be cool, because then you could have even more variety. Other than that, I mean, I think that they have hit a good balance right now, as you said. And it's definitely in a better spot. I think that there are going to be some annoying things as ever, which is some play styles being kind of annoying to play against, and hunters generally existing in the state of Crucible, because, you know, fuck hunters completely. Especially Night Stalkers, you guys can just fuck out of here, I don't like you. Invisible sword-looking ass motherfuckers. God damn it. Can we just remove swords? If we can remove one thing, remove swords.
I'm down.
That's it. I'm out. Later, guys. If you liked the video, make sure you leave a like, subscribe for more. You can check the description for links to our social media and all of that. And most of all, thank you guys for watching. My name is Jack. That's Jesse. And we will see you guys in the next video.
Later.